Reading from the Zohar, the Book of Splendor, page 30. We have learned that when a man's time arrives to leave the world, on that fearful day, the four quarters of the world arraign him, and punishments come up from all four, and the four elements fall into dispute, each clamoring to depart its own side. Whereupon a herald goes out and proclaims. The proclamation is heard in 270 worlds. If the man merit it, he is joyously welcomed by all the worlds. But if not, woe to the man and his portion. We have learned that upon the herald's proclamation, a flame issues from the north, going through the stream of fire, and splitting up to pass into the four quarters of the world, therefore to consume the souls of sinners. After which it leaves and shoots up, down until it settles between the wings of a black cock, which then flaps its wings and crows at the threshold of the gate. First it cries out, For behold, the day cometh, it burneth as a furnace. The second time it cries, For lo, he that formeth the mountains and createth the wind, and declareth unto man what is his thought. This is the time that a man's deeds bear witness against him, and he admits them as his. The third time they come to deprive him of his soul, and the cock calls, Who would fear thee, O King of nations? For it befitteth thee. Rabbi Yoshi said, Wherefore must it be a black cock? Rabbi Judah replied, A mystical meaning inheres in whatever the Almighty does. We know that punishment falls only upon the place which it is similar to it. Black being the symbol of the side of judgment. The flame, in going forth, lights on the wings of a black cock, which is most befitting. Thus, it is when a man's hour of judgment approaches, it starts to call to him. And only the sufferer himself knows, as we have learned, that a new spirit enters from above into the man lying ill, whose hour to depart from the world is near. And it is in virtue that this new spirit that he perceives what he could not before perceive. And then he goes from the world. Thus it is written, For man shall not see me and live. Exodus 33:20. In lifetime, no, but at the hour of death it is permitted. We saw, moreover, that a man in his hour of death is permitted to behold his relatives and companions from the other world. All these rejoice before him and greet him if he is righteous, but if not, then only the sinners who are daily thrust down into Gehinnom recognize him. All are begloomed, and woe commences and ends their converse. Lifting up his eyes, he sees them as a flame darting from the fire, and he with them exclaims, Woe! We have seen that when a man's soul leaves him, it is met by all his relatives and companions in the other world, who guide him to the realm of delight and the place of torture. If he is righteous, he beholds his place and ascends, and is there installed and regaled with the delights of the other world. But if no, then his soul stays in this world until his body is buried in the earth, after which the executioner seize him on and drag him down to Duma, the prince of Gehinnom, and his allotted level of Gehinnom. Rabbi Judah said, During 7 days does the soul go from his house to his grave, and from his grave to his house, back and forth, in mourning for the body, according to the verse, but his flesh shall suffer pain for him, and his soul shall mourn over him. Job 14:22. And as it beholds the grief of his house, it also grieves. Now we know that at the end of the 7 days the decay of the body sets in, and the soul goes into its place. It is first permitted into the cave of Machpelah up to a point set in accordance with its merit. Then it comes to where the Garden of Eden stands, and then encounters the cherubim and the flashing sword, which is found in the lower Garden of Eden. And if it is deemed worthy to do so, it enters. We know that there are 4 pillars in waiting, and in their hands they hold the form of a body which the soul joyfully dons as its garment. And then it abides in its allotted circle of the lower garden for the stated time. After that, a herald issued proclamations, and there is brought out of a pillar of 3 yews, called the habitation of Mount Zion. Isaiah 4:5. By this pillar the soul ascends to the gate of righteousness, where are to be found Zion and Jerusalem. Happy is the lot of the soul deemed worthy to ascend higher, for then it is together with the body of the King. If it does not merit to ascend higher, he that is left in Zion, he must remain in Jerusalem, shall be called holy. Isaiah 4:3. But when a soul is granted to ascend higher, then it sees before the glory of the King, and is vouchsafed the supernal delight from the region which is called heaven. He upon whom this grace is bestowed, fortunate is he. Rabbi Yoshi said, there is a grace higher and lower grace. The higher grace is found above the heavens, as it stands written, for thy mercy is great above the heavens. Psalms 108:5. And concerning the lower grace it says, for thy mercy is great unto the heavens. Psalms 57:11. And of this latter are the faithful mercies of David. Isaiah 55:3.